Raiders Retro Reviews, where today we're going to be doing something a little unusual. No board games for you tonight, but instead we're going to be looking at something a bit different. We're still going to be raiding that attic, but beyond the dusty cobwebs, the lost valley of the dinosaurs, and escape from Atlantis. We're going to be checking out pop-up books. Anyone who's seen my channel before should know I'm a bit of a fan of board games with unusual gimmicks and clever mechanisms, so it should come as no big surprise that I'm also a fan of paper engineering and clever pop-up mechanisms. And of course, I love all things spooky and creepy. So this series of pop-up books by Keith Moseley is a perfect storm for me. Now, of course, there are a lot of pop-up books with creepy, spooky themes on the market, but these really speak to my heart, or what's left of it. The illustrations are beautiful in a macabre way, in a form that's quite unusual for children's books. There's definitely a lot more blood and decapitations than your usual fare for kiddies, and that's what makes me love it so much. I was maybe a bit of an unusual child, but obviously not that unusual, since there seems to be a whole series of books for boys like me. Unlike some spooky pop-up books, which are far more cartoony, these have a realism and a grit to them that really captures the soul and fires the imagination. So, without further ado, let's take a look at one of the books. Some Bodies in the Attic, a spooky pop-up book. This is one of a series of 4 spooky-themed pop-up books created by Keith Moseley. The other ones, The Ghosts of Creepy Castle and The Things in Mouldy Manor, they were released in 1988, but these later ones, Some Bodies in the Attic, this one, and The Door Under the Stairs, they came out in 1990. And as you'll see, these last 2 are a little bit different from the earlier 2. The earlier 2 are a kind of ongoing story. These 2 are actually poetry. These ones have got a poem and rhyme going throughout them. They also have a slightly different pop-up at the end. The last 2 books, they have got that in common, which the first 2 books don't have, but we'll see that, and you'll see exactly what I mean when we come on to the last page. Beware. Your skin will crawl when you venture into the forbidden passages in this fiendishly clever pop-up book. Follow the dreadful voices which beckon you into dark rooms where diabolical creatures are just dying to meet you. Enter if you dare. Really nice illustrations, quite morbid for a children's book, but these are really worth picking up if you're a fan of pop-up books or just horror and creepy things in general. So let's take a look. Some Bodies in the Attic. Design and paper engineering by Keith Moseley. Illustrations by Everitt-Stewart. No one dares open the attic door. Nobody knows what it's bolted for. It could be some bodies are lurking up there, where you often hear voices that call out, "Beware." We've got "Do Not Open" sign here, so of course we're going to open it. Let's see what's in here. We've got a rather traditional looking spooky ghost there. Lots of cobwebs and things. There's the entrance to the attic, and what's going to happen when we pull this? There is somebody, some unsuspecting human boy coming into the attic. And he will not see this big monster with a rather large behind. Will be hidden behind the door. Let's see what happens.
And just when you think that this might be a dream, your eardrums awake to a blood-curdling scream. The ghostly white creatures will fill you with fright when their terrible shrieking pierces the night. Again, nice little fold. Pop up there. Keep closed, don't open. Well, you know we're a sucker for opening things we shouldn't. Oh, there it is. Something or somebody that has been stabbed and placed in there. What does it say? Oh, nothing much. It looks like some tally marks, I think. Just to see how long that poor person has been in there. And we've got another one here that says open. Let's see if we open this. Oh, there is a rather, well, we've got a little thing in here in the cupboard, but there is a rather creepy looking skeletal grandma from the looks of things in this bed. Would not like to go to sleep in there. You hear heavy footsteps and later a thud, and something keeps dripping and dripping. It's blood. When a bone-rattling skeleton asks you to dine, that's when you really get chills up your spine. Let's see. Keep locked. Well, let's open it. Oh, there is a giant rat in that cupboard. And what is the skeleton going to be serving for dinner this evening? Let's see if we can pull this. Oh, it doesn't seem to be very much meat on that head if we're supposed to be eating it, but very well presented orange there. I don't know if I would actually want to partake in that meal, but there we go. Oh, gone too far. Spoiling the ending, revealing too much. Like clockwork at midnight, a coffin lid creaks, scurrying, flurrying, go demons and freaks. Then Dracula starts on his journey to find companions with whom he can really unwind. You can see, got this nice giant bat comes out here, right out of the book. Got a nice 3D bat there, looks pretty cool. Anything else in here? Do not open this window. Well, let's see what happens if we do. Oh dear, it's just somebody who looks like the vampire has already visited them. We've got 1850 vintage B negative blood, and the vampire is presumably in his coffin, or had been in his coffin. There, we're running out of the door. He seeks red-blooded friends for a small drink or two, and he's very certain that he'd like to meet you. You can see we've got this really nice pop-up face here, and I really like the action that not only does the mouth kind of open and close, but the eyes open and close. That is a really nice one on Dracula, our vampire there. Definitely not a good idea to go into this attic.
I hope you enjoyed that little tour through creepdom, and if you did, it might be worth you picking up one of these creepy tomes. We'll be back next time with a look at one of these other pop-up books. But until then, please remember, like, subscribe, and put a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you, especially if you know of any other spooky pop-up books that you could recommend to me. I'll be all ears. Well, I would be if mine hadn't rotted off.